Welcome to this Mirror Now special on International Women's Day. Thanks to decades of fighting and dozens of trailblazers, women empowerment and gender equality isn't some distant dream. It's a real and achievable goal. Women are now leading governments. They are flying out to space. They are heading multinational corporations. They are belting out chart-topping numbers. And they are conquering the world of sport. These achievements were made possible by the sacrifices of many, by the success of trailblazers who charted new paths in male-dominated worlds. At the top of that world are the defense forces. Pick any country, chances are the army is run by men. It's a force that has historically been male-dominated and is fiercely protective of the status quo. Here in India, I'm glad to say things are changing. Slowly, but surely. We are far way off from a gender-neutral armed forces, but women are pushing ahead. Tonight, I'm speaking to 5 trailblazing women from the Indian Army to hear how they got where they did and what inspired them to don the olive greens. I'm speaking to Captain Shreya Dhoundial, who is posted at the world's highest battlefield in Siachen. She's the first woman to be operationally deployed there. That's quite an achievement. There she is. Major Bhavna Sayal. She's a signal officer and she's posted in eastern Ladakh. These are very tough, challenging situations for any officer. Not just a female, but a male as well. Major Beena Tiwari. You may remember her from the Indian rescue team that traveled to Turkey last month after the earthquake. That picture went viral. She's joining us to talk about that picture and that moment. And we have Major Ruchi, who's commander of the female engagement team that is deployed in Congo. She's part of the UN peacekeeping mission there. She's joining us from Congo. And finally, we have Abhilasha, who is the Indian Army's first combat aviator. She joins us from Manasbal in Kashmir. We will be talking to each one of them about their journey, the challenges they faced, and the path ahead. Let's begin with the highest battlefield in the world. Let's start from the top. This is where Captain Shreya Dhoundial is joining us from the chilly battleground of Siachen. She comes from Rajasthan. She comes from Udaipur and was commissioned into the Engineers Regiment in May 2021. She was posted to Siachen in January for a 3-month stint. Before deployment, she was put through a rigorous 1-month training program, endurance training, ice wall climbing, survival drills, all of it. It's the only way you can survive Siachen. Captain Chauhan is part of the Fire and Fury Corps and is the first woman officer to be operationally deployed in Siachen. Quick side note, we are talking about the world's highest battlefield at 15,600 feet. Can you imagine what it is like going to office there every day? Let's go across to her for a very quick chat. I'm afraid this is Siachen, so the network is not very stable, but we did manage to get hold of Captain Shreya. Captain Shreya Dhoundial, thank you very much for your time. Should I start by asking you, how's the weather up there?
We have been adequately trained in the pre-commissioning academies and pre-course training by various training institutions to employ us effectively in such op roles and difficult terrains. Moreover, I believe that after commissioning, it was the whole and soul support of my Fire and Fury Corps, the Siachen Brigade, and the faith and grooming of my Surasoi Engineer Regiment.
Captain Shreya, you are the first one to be operationally deployed in Siachen. What is it like to walk a path that no woman has walked before? What has it been like for you? What have been the challenges?
It is truly a matter of pride and honor for me, my family, and my Surasoi Engineer Regiment. And the challenges which we face here is the extreme cold climatic conditions, the taxing moraines, the ice mast, the endless oceans of crevasses, the high-speed winds, and the isolation at glacier.
You know, it's often said that mountains don't recognize gender. Is that really true?
Definitely it is true, because extreme climatic conditions warrants extreme physical fitness and mental robustness.
Okay, so whether you're a man or a woman, you need to have it. Else, as they say, mountains have a way of fixing overconfidence. My last question, you're from Rajasthan, from Udaipur. It's one of the warmest places on the planet. How did your mother react to your Siachen posting?
My mother was never worried. Rather, she was the one who motivated me throughout this journey. And indeed, she is very proud of my achievement.
I'm sure, and I'm sure it's not just your mother, but the entire Indian Army that is proud, and your unit as well, that is proud of your achievements. We leave it there. I know the signal is a little unstable, Captain Chauhan. Thank you very much in any case for joining us. Our next trailblazer is Major Bhavna Sayal. Like we mentioned at the start, she's a signals officer posted in eastern Ladakh. As signal officer, her role is to provide strategic communication to forward troops that are deployed near the LAC. Major Bhavna is also a third-generation army officer. Did the family tradition inspire her to wear the uniform, or was it something else? Let's put that question and a few more to Major Bhavna herself, who is joining us from Ladakh. Major Bhavna, posted in Karu, thank you very much for joining us. Ladakh is one of the toughest places on earth to survive. And the signals, might I add, has worked very, very hard. Hi there. Very, very hard to ensure that I can speak to you from such a great distance.
Yes, ma'am. The communication part is the backbone of Indian Army, and being part of Corps of Signals, we try our best that the commander is able to reach the forwardmost vicinity of village.
Bhavna, how tough is it to work in Ladakh? Could you give our viewers a sense of that?
So, ma'am, the weather condition is harsh. The terrain is quite rough here. So the one main thing that we require to do here is acclimatization before starting on with our work. Maintaining the physical fitness of not only our men but also the equipment, that is very crucial. Catering for the administrative requirement during the fair weather condition, because during winters the roads get blocked. That is very essential for the leadership. And being in a field condition, ma'am, we are de facto on 24-hour duty, since we can swing into action within a very short duration of time. So these are some challenges of the field location.
Bhavna, can I ask you, it is often said that the armed forces draw their soldiers from villages that are hugely patriarchal, which is why the men find it difficult to accept the command of women. Can I ask you how you have negotiated that tricky relationship with the men who serve under you?
Ma'am, this thing is a myth now, because women officers and gentlemen officers, we are soldiers first. So firstly, soldier is a gender neutral word. And the same thing has been accepted by the troops as well. It is your work that should speak for you, and it is your work that should get you that respect, and that is how it is in Army now. Women were, I think, inducted in the year 1992. It has been nearly 31 years. So we do training with gentlemen officers. We do courses with them. So even these things are being seen by the troops. We are going on exercises, staying in the same living condition. The troops also see all this. And when they see us working, when they see that we are as dedicated as any other soldier, that respect automatically comes. We don't have to, ask for it.
In your 10 years, you've of course had varied experiences. CIOps, a UN mission, now Ladakh. Has it been a fun journey so far?
Ma'am, the experience has been great for me. It has been very enriching and satisfying at the same time. And every time I go to a new unit, the only thing that is on my mind is to work hard and to live up to the expectations of my seniors and of my commanding officer, and to never let my troops down.
Major Bhavna Sayal doing the entire Corps of Signals proud, and I'm sure the entire Indian Army. Thank you very much for joining us all the way from Ladakh. It was good to speak to you. Now, our women soldiers are not just making us proud at home. Their dedication and their courage have been appreciated in foreign countries as well. One example of that is Major Beena Tiwari. You may remember this picture of her from Turkey. Let's put that picture out for you. Major Beena was part of the Indian rescue team that was rushed to Turkey after the earthquake. She soon became the poster girl of Operation Dost. Major Beena herself served in the 60 Parachute Field Hospital. She treated dozens of earthquake victims along with her colleagues, and she did so with a very warm smile on her face. Well, one that went viral. So let me start my first question to Beena Tiwari with that one moment. Dr. Beena Tiwari, you're joining us from Agra. You're back from Turkey. Can you describe to me the moment of that viral moment, as it were, when an old Turkish lady who probably doesn't understand your language simply comes and hugs you and you smile right back?
Actually, it was day second of our hospital setup, and it was running. So it was our day second there, and like patients were coming from all across the region of Hatay. So she was one of the patient of mine. She came with a medical problem. She was speaking in Turkish, and with the help of a translator, we were like able to communicate with each other. And the lady, I think she was so overwhelmed with the setup that we had made, and with all the Indian Army personnel working there, and they were there for helping them. She was so overwhelmed with that feeling that after telling her problem, she was so happy with the treatment that we gave him, with all the services that we were providing to all the patients. She was so overwhelmed with that she just she hugged me and she kissed me, and in Turkish only she was like, I got to know this via the translator, that she was blessing us and she was blessing our organization and our team, and she was thanking us that we came there to help them in their tough times. And I was smiling because I was also kind of surprised, like she just came forward to hug me and kiss me. So it was surprising and overwhelming moment for myself also.
This is Turkey. This is a country that has been hit by an earthquake that the country has never seen in the last 100 years. There are many thousands of people who have died. Half the country is devastated. What was the experience, just landing there, setting up a field hospital, and eventually hitting the ground running? What was that experience like?
I'd say, like, our initial glimpses there, they were very heartbreaking and they were very disturbing. There was destruction all over the place, and like we can see people through their sufferings and all. And so it was very heartbreaking for us also. And it was my first, it was my first humanitarian relief op for myself also. So it was kind of disturbing for me also. But through that, what we saw is like after setting up our hospital, we just gave all our heart and soul to treat all the victims of the earthquake, like as many as possible. So by curing their sufferings and by giving them treatment, and with all the overwhelming responses that we were giving from the patients, that was the thing that kept us motivated to keep on working without even concerning how much comfort we are getting while working. So that was the motivating factor. And apart from that, like after going to Turkey and setting up our hospital, and the volunteers that came from across the nation, so many volunteers were coming to our hospital setup, and they were there to help us in translating, in giving treatment to the patients and communicating with the locals. So that was very surprising, I'll say, and overwhelming for us also, that their help made our task so easy. And we made so much of we made good bonds with all the people and all the volunteers there. So it was a very good feeling, I'll say.
Dr. Beena Tiwari joining us from Agra. Thank you very much for your time. You truly made India proud in Turkey. Thank you very much. Time to meet another ambassador of India. For several years, India has sent peacekeepers to the Central African country of Congo. In 2019, a team of all-women peacekeepers from India took over that role. Major Ruchi is the commander of the female engagement team in Congo. Her job is to engage with the local population, gather information from them, and gain their confidence. If locals face any issue, Major Ruchi is also expected to try and solve them. It's a hard enough job within your country, but imagine doing that in a distant and war-torn nation. So what drives Major Ruchi forward, and what has been her experience like carrying India's flag in global missions? I'm speaking to her. She's a trailblazer peacekeeper herself. She's joining us from Congo. Thank you very much. Do you miss home? And do you miss your homeland, more importantly?
Definitely, it fills you with immense pride and respect. And when we come here as peacekeepers, and normally in India, definitely we are not putting this flag on our uniform, but when we come here, we are putting this flag. So we have, before we do anything, the national pride comes in. And as peacekeepers, wearing this blue beret and functioning in a foreign territory altogether, and seeing a different culture, different set of people, and when they look up to you and you feel that yes, you can do something for them, it fills you with immense gratification, I would say, both personally as well as professionally. So words, I cannot actually explain to you in words how it actually feels, but yes, a different exposure, at a quite enriching one and quite extraordinary and exclusive thing, I can say.
So I can see that you're wearing an Indian flag on your uniform. You won't be wearing that if you were here in India. Does it bring any sort of special treatment? Because I know that Indian peacekeepers, whether it is male or female, are very highly regarded across the world, not just in Africa.
UN as an organization itself is admired at, and people expect a lot from UN when it comes to peacekeepers. And so far, when you are functioning under UN, definitely we are here as a force. When we work together, we cannot say directly we are from India or we are from some other country. We are here firstly as peacekeepers. So we have to first. Uh, Rather, we have to maintain the standards that UN has set, and we have to meet the expectations that people have from UN altogether. Secondly, it comes to our own national image when we are wearing this flag of our country. So again, it gives us immense pride when people, they ask us, you're from which country, and definitely everybody knows here, and Indians are especially very famous here. And you see young kids and all the entire local population, they are actually looking up to the Indian contingent, because in when we talk about Congo, then we have a huge presence here. We have two battalions. Initially there were three, one has gone now, so currently we have two battalions. We have a central sector, which is again the officers there and the troops are from mainly from our own country only. So definitely people look up to you, and it fills you with a lot of pride and respect.
Major Ruchi, what a pleasure it has been speaking to you. Thank you very much for holding India's flag high in Congo. Thank you very much. Our final guest is Major Abhilasha Barak. She hails from Haryana and is the Indian Army's first woman combat aviator. In 2018, she completed her training and was commissioned into the Indian Army. The Army celebrated the milestone, calling it a Golden Letter Day. But before joining the Army, she had another career option. Major Abhilasha completed her BTech in 2016. She was offered a job in the USA as a business technology analyst. What led her to give up that corporate suit and put on the uniform? I'm asking that and much more to Major Abhilasha, who is joining us from Manasbal. Major Abhilasha Barak, thank you very much for your time. You're the first combat aviator of the Indian Army. As far as achievements go, that's a pretty big one. Do you feel the weight more or the pride more?
See, even after being the first combat aviator, I still feel I'm a very small part of the Indian Army, because before me, there have been hundreds of aviators who have got their wings. So I'm doing my job every day like any other aviator, and it all feels the same.
You know, combat aviation, whether it's flying a fighter jet or a combat helicopter, is still mostly seen as a male bastion. Would you say that bit by bit that is changing, given the fact that the Indian Air Force, you of course are with the Army, but the Indian Air Force has also inducted its first woman fighter pilot?
See, I've been flying since last 1.5 years, 1 year of training and 6 months when I have been posted in the Kashmir Valley. It is more to do with the skills and how highly trainable you are, irrespective of your gender. There is no male or female aviator. It is just an aviator. So it is only to do with our capabilities. And if we are so passionate and dedicated towards it, there is nothing that we cannot achieve.
What would you, my final question, what would you say to young girls who are watching you today and saying, we want to be like her?
I would just want to say, follow your passion. And once you have that passion, move out of your homes, move out of that comfort zone. Make friends who share the same, aspirations so that you can grow together, you can learn from them. And there's nothing that is not achievable in today's times.
Those are good words to end the show with. Major Abhilasha, thank you very much for joining us from the Kashmir Valley. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this Mirror Now special broadcast on International Women's Day. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.